But our next guest, we're going to Blacksburg, Virginia, because for the first time ever, Virginia Tech is your ACC women's basketball champs. And there's the coach. Kenny, listen, you've been with us, whether it be the old Packer and Durham days or now with the ACC PM show, a bunch. And putting this thing together, it didn't happen overnight. But I'll tell you what, your ladies played lights out and have been playing their best basketball at the right time. Congratulations. That was a joy to watch. Everything kind of come together. I know that you had a front row seat on this thing, but man alive, what a ride. And it's not over with yet.
No, no, by no means is it over. And I tell you what, Mark, it was just an unbelievable experience. The whole year, the maturity of this group, the resiliency, the way that they've handled themselves in a professional manner. We have a lot of veterans on this group, and they knew what they wanted. And even though the task looked daunting at times, they never wavered from what we were trying to do, and just a coach's dream. When that buzzer went off last night, and mission accomplished. I couldn't be happier for a group of kids because they've all sacrificed so much, and it's all they wanted to do was win. We've had some talented transfers who come in, and they had to sacrifice from their previous roles at their other universities, and they were willing to do that for that cause and for that moment. And the tears, they were tears of joy, but everyone had a story and everyone had a part in it. It made it very, very special.
Okay, so for your tears, because you had them as well in your post-game interviews and all
Yes.
over the court, as you had a line to hug you, it felt like throughout the celebration on the court. What were your tears? What's your story from your tears? What do they represent for you?
I'll tell you where it came from. Okay, I shook Jeff Wall's hand. He congratulated me, and then the next person I saw when I finished the line was Georgia A. Moore, and she was waiting, and everything went through my mind. Every workout that we've done, every time that I yelled at her, every time that we just tried to get some things going, every moment, and then I shed tears, and I talked to her for a long time because I wanted to dry my tears. She walks away, and then here comes Liz Kitley. And then all of a sudden, I knew everything that we had gone through to get her to that point, the vision that she shared with me as she chose Virginia Tech. And I talked to her for an extensive time so I could get my tears dried up. And then my daughter, Chloe, came, and I just totally lost it. And by that time, it was no more drying of the tears. And I just had to just go do the interview. And you know what? Those are tears I was savoring for the rest of my life. And I'm glad we got them on camera.
There's nothing quite like winning that first one, right? I mean, that's the one that you're always going to remember. But I want to kind of go backwards a little bit with you, Coach. This is a great basketball league. And I'm not just saying because I'm on ACC Network. If I was somewhere else, I'd say, hey, you know what? That ACC is just unbelievable. Going to get 8 teams, could get 9, set records and everything else. But what you did in Greensboro, you almost made it look easy. And I know it's not easy. I mean, if it was easy,
Yeah.
everybody'd win it. But I mean, you came in as the hottest team, and you just went boom, boom, boom. I mean, it was short and sweet. I mean, I just thought the efficiency in which you played on both ends of the floor, the confidence that this team had going into it, it was almost like, hey, you just weren't going to be denied this week. It was just not going to happen.
I think you hit it right on the head. The efficiency that we had on both ends of the floor. And obviously, defense wins championships, offense sells tickets. But we were locked in on both ends, Mark. And I mean, the unit, they were covering for each other. They were communicating. They were communicative to me, what they were seeing, how they wanted to change up defenses. And our defense was stifling. And I mean, we really took everyone out of what they wanted to do. We guarded everyone. We frustrated some people. We rebounded the basketball. Everyone played their part. Then we went on the offensive end, and we've got 2 of the most dynamic offensive players. And then we added some couple others who really had good showings. And it was a thing of joy on both ends of the floor. It wasn't just one end to try to carry us. And that's why I think we were so successful.
You say your players come to you and tell you what you're seeing. Like it's an open line of communication between you guys to get the best product on the floor. Who's the most vocal? Who's the one this week in Greensboro who was coming up to you the most saying, hey, coach, let's do this, let's do this, let's do that?
Well, it's obviously Georgia. Georgia comes to me and we have conversations now. It used to be I would talk to her during stoppages of play. And now she's coming over and she's talking to me, giving me suggestions. And those are things that I cherish because I remember when I played, and I played for Lefty Drizel, Lefty would always tell us to do this or do that. And he would say, Kenny, get over that screen. And I used to think to myself, Coach, it's not that easy to just get over the screen. And so now I just really value my kids' input because they're the ones who are on the floor. And, I could come up with a scheme, but if they're not comfortable with it, it's not going to be executed to the best of its ability. So listening to them, they're the smartest group that I've ever been around. Kayla King can remember a play that I ran 3 years ago and what I
Mm.
called it and what everyone's supposed to do. Liz Kitley manages the back end and she just understands the philosophies. And what Taylor Soul has brought to us and Kayana Trailer and Deasia Gregg it's just made it very, very special. And that's why, I'd be silly if I didn't listen to them because that way, we get the best out of our performances.
Coach, I've heard it so many times with so many interviews over all the decades upon decades I've been doing this stuff that the teams that win championships, it's funny to hear coaches say, you know what? This team kind of coaches itself. I got to
Yeah.
make sure I don't screw it up, right? And it sounds like that's exactly what you were describing. That, hey, I'll get you head in the right direction, but you guys know what you're supposed to do. You know, I don't need to tell you A, B, C, D, because you know what, we've been down that road before. But it sounds like you've got one of those kind of teams that just understands the way to play from a leadership standpoint on the court, even away from the court. You probably don't have to do a whole lot of screaming.
You're exactly right, Mark. They work so hard. As I mentioned before, they're very, very smart. They're very, very talented, and they just understand basketball. And they're very professional in their manner in which they go about their business. We come in, they're very professional. They work hard. They understand it. And after the first Duke game that we played, we went to a different style. We went to a different way of giving them information. They were so smart that they would take the scout literally. We would show them the plays that the other team was going to run, and they would take it literally. And if a team tried to break off of the play, we were a little bit, we kind of lost ourselves a little bit. So we gave them less information and showed them, kind of basic things that they were going to run. These are some actions that they're going to run. And then from that point, you just have to guard. And from that point on, and we haven't lost since that game. They've been much better and locked in on the defensive end. And it's been more of a, hey, we know what you're going to do, but we need to stay in front of you and not just expect for you to run the play through. And that just shows the maturity of this group and where they could really adjust to anything that we were trying to do. And it's been a big difference.
Are winning the first ACC championship for Virginia Tech. It's obviously your first, but also I want to talk to you about it being you're the first Black coach to win an ACC championship for the women. Speak to that and the meaning of that for you, because that's a big deal, especially in today's world.
It is. The more and more I sit around, I keep hearing more. It's the first for this. It's the first for that, and it's very special to be a part of it because I know I won't be the last. We have some amazing Black coaches in the ACC. Kara Lawson, Neil Ivey, Coach Mox, Felicia Leggett Jack, who are all good friends of mine. We share some of the same experiences, so I know I won't be the last one. But the one thing that I do know is that I will champion for causes. I am a Black male coach. I am the only Black male coach in Power Five. And if you had asked me 10 years ago, I never would have taken on the responsibility of being someone that people could look up to or someone that's really paving the way for others. But everything that's gone on in the last few years, I felt like it's my job, it's my duty, it's my responsibility to do things in a positive manner so that other people who look like me will get an opportunity. I do think that Black male coaches are really good for our profession. I'm very passionate about the women's game. I've had opportunities to go back to the men's game, and I don't want to. I am a women's basketball coach. This is what I love to do. It's where I want to do it. And there are a lot more people like me. And so for me, if I can go out and I can represent my university to the utmost, maybe some other people will get an opportunity because ADs will take a look at it and they'll give them the same opportunity that I got. And I was very fortunate that the people at James Madison gave me an opportunity to coach, to showcase what I could do. Been very successful, and we come to the Power Five and Virginia Tech. And a few years later, we got into the program to where we have national prominence. We're the fourth ranked team in the country right now, and we're winning games that we didn't win before. So it's very, very important to me because I think there are a lot of good people, and I just want to make sure that everyone gets an opportunity, whether you're white, Black, male, or female, because this sport needs really good people, and really good people can make a difference in what this sport is going to become in the future.
And that's really well said, Coach. And I would even say that that's one of the things I think Commissioner Phillips has pushed that agenda too. and it's the right thing to do. But I mean, I just think of the women's coaches in this league, and I know we had a bunch of newbies, if you will, this past year. But it's an impressive lot, isn't it? I mean, it's a combination of a little bit of everything. And you've always been open minded and having really deep conversations up and above just basketball. I think it's one of the things that we've enjoyed having conversations with you about, that you think that, hey, you know what? It's healthy to have these open conversations to make everybody kind of perk up a little bit and pay attention.
Absolutely. And what we went through the last couple of years, Mark, I've told you about it. It's made me a better person. It's made me a better coach. I have a very diverse basketball team. And during those times of social injustices, I had to continue to make sure I educated, both sides, all parties, to make sure that we could stay together as a team and just educate each other, because Elizabeth Kelly doesn't understand the things that Deasia Gregg might have gone through, and vice versa. And if we educate each other, we learn to love each other. We know we have a common cause. And if the world was like a basketball team, then I think we'd be much better off, because there's a lot of tolerance and understanding and trying to get to know each other within a group, the small walls of a basketball team. And I think that's the way everyone should think, because just the prejudices we have, by looking at someone, it's ridiculous, because you got to get to know people. And that's something that I felt like, for me, I had to open myself up, be vulnerable, because when Georgia Amore looks at me as an authoritative figure or as a coach, she never understood, or she didn't know the trials and the tribulations that I had to go through. And when you open yourself up and you tell them about the world, you can get their confidence, and they understand you're not just somebody who was just put in a place of power. I had to work to get there, and I had to work through a lot of injustices to get there, and it really helps educate everyone. And that's probably my best coaching job that I've done in the last few years, is to open myself up, understand the cause, and champion for people who look like me or people who want opportunities like me.
Very well said, Coach. And part of this is, you say, I want to stay on the women's side. I'm a women's basketball coach. And what comes with that is growing the game. And we've seen such growth, especially you guys are going to be at Castle Coliseum for the first and second round, which is so exciting. And then last night, you guys pull into town. You got the trophy in your hand. You're coming off the bus, and there's people there to cheer you guys on. What has that been like, to watch this embrace? I mean, you wouldn't have maybe seen this years ago, and to be part of that and that growth, I'm sure your phone has blown up. What's that been like for you?
It's been unbelievable. Virginia Tech has some of the best fans in the country, and you watch the football games. Castle Coliseum for the men sold out every night. And we had to really build, get trust of the community. I laughed and I joked when I got off the bus. I said, there's more people here now to greet us than it was my first game here in Castle Coliseum. And I kind of meant that. And for me, I played on the men's side in front of sold out arenas, night in and night out. I've coached in big time arenas, and I watch my young ladies work as hard or harder than men. And they deserve the same opportunities, the same result, the same support. And, we're a basketball team just like the men's basketball team. And if they could get 9,000, we should have the same amount of people coming, because we are Virginia Tech, and we're playing basketball, and we play a great brand of basketball. If you look at my style and Coach Young's style, we don't talk a lot about basketball, but they're very, very similar, and it's a very entertaining game. So for me, watching my young ladies work as hard as they do, and to see them playing in front of huge crowds, because our crowds really made a good team, a great team this year. And it just warms my heart. I feel so good when you step back as a proud papa and you watch your kids go through something that's extremely exciting for them, memories that last a lifetime. Then that just rings so special to me. And that's what it's meant this year, because Hokie Nation has really gotten behind us. And I think it's going to be rocking when we play in the first couple of rounds here in a week or so.
All right, before we let you go, this week's got to feel a little different, right? I mean, not only you have the ACC Championship in your back pocket, as Taylor said, you're going to have home games, which is a beautiful thing. Do you sweat it out as far as 1 seed, 2 seed, 3 seed? Can't be worse than a 2, the way I'm looking at it. I mean, or is this? You tell me. You're the one living the dream here. What's it going to be like this week?
Well, this week's going to be a lot of resting and relaxation. The kids are on spring break, so they're gone. They're away for a few days. I spent a whole day with my wife today. We had conversations about something other than basketball. And so we're going to relax for a little bit. And, Mark, I don't know 1 or 2 seed if it makes a difference. We're still going to be hosting. There's so much parity in women's basketball right now that I don't think there's much difference in a 7 seed or 14 seed or a 13 seed. So whoever you play, you just got to be prepared. And I think we'll be ready because this group is very, very mature, and they're experienced and they're hungry, and they want to continue this ride that we're on.
Well, again, congratulations. You're good people, and it's always cool to see good things happen to good folks. And you absolutely fall into that category. All that hard work, and wish you nothing but the best. And we'll see what happens with the seedings and all that stuff. But man, you're good to go as the ACC champs.
I love the way that sounds. Been a long time.
You got it, Coach. Best of luck.
Congratulations,
All right, thanks,
Coach.
guys.